Good evening, parents. Welcome to Open House. My name is Miss Carrion. I am your student second grade teacher. I've met a few of you guys, most of you guys on Class Dojo. So I'm just going to be talking about a bit of the standards we're going over in class and some of the standards we're going to be looking at, as well as classroom expectations, as well as grading. So this is our schedule from 8:45 to 10:30. We have our whole group reading block with our reading centers. From 10:30 to 11:10, we have writing. From 11:15 to 11:40 is our lunchtime. From 11:40 to 12 is our reading intervention time. From 12 to 12:45 is our specials. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays we have PE. Wednesdays is art, and music is on Thursdays. So make sure for PE that your student is wearing the proper shoes so they're able to participate. From 12:45 to 2:15 is our math block, and we do our whole group math and our math centers. From 2:15 to 2:45 is our science, and then from 2:45 to 3 is social studies, and 3 o'clock is dismissal. On Wednesdays, we do not have science, and some of the subjects are taught in a different order, and then we have specials at the end of the day. Our school-wide expectations. So these are Eagles Nest expectations. We expect our students to soar. So that means to strive for excellence, own our behavior, achieve your goals, and respect yourself and others. And when I see students doing this, I'm able to give them an eagle feather, which they're able to redeem at lunch on Fridays for special prizes, for popcorn, when I see them showing, when I see them soaring. For our classroom expectations, the teacher and students will be respectful and kind to one another. Students will always work hard and try their best. Students will stay focused and on task at all times. During discussions, students will only discuss information that is relevant to the topic at hand, and students will follow classroom and school rules. I want to also hone in on keeping our hands to ourselves, hands and feet to ourselves, as well as keeping our masks up. So I see a few of my students pushing each other around, whether it's because they're playing or they got upset. And I also see a lot of my students not wearing their mask. So I need to make sure that their mask stays above their nose due to the world's current situation. My classroom behavior system. In my classroom, we have something called teacher versus class. So if the class is on task and they're all quiet and they're doing what they're supposed to do, they can get a point. But if they are off task and they're talking when they're not supposed to be talking, things like that, the teacher gets a point. And the goal is, by the end of the day, if they have more points than the teacher does, they can earn a flower petal. So they need to earn 5 flower petals in order to earn a class prize. So the current class prize that we're working for is a class pizza party. We currently have 2 petals, so we're just working on that as a class. I also use dojo points to kind of give points to students that are on task and doing what they're supposed to be doing, coming in quietly, getting started on their work, helping others, and just being a team player. Homework. So it is imperative that the agenda is looked at and signed each night. I do want to start using the agendas for more so for behavior, whether they had a good day, bad day, an okay day, or write down any notes that I need to send home. But we also send home a newsletter that has all of our important dates, whether we have tests and our spelling words, as well as what we have for homework that week. And that goes home every Monday. Reading, math, and spelling homework is given daily except for Fridays. And homework completion is part of participation grades for reading, math, and language arts. Now our grades. These are the breakdowns for our grades. Our students are able to receive A, B, C, D, or F. For math, science, and social studies, classwork is worth 40% of their grade. So it's important that they're on task during class when it's during whole group and they're learning what they're supposed to do and they have to turn in their classwork. Participation or quizzes are worth 20% and tests are 30%. So it's important that they pay attention in class, do their homework, so that they can do well on those tests. For reading, our spelling test is worth 10%, our reading test is worth 30%, classwork is worth 40%, and participation in quizzes is 20%. So again, it's important that they're doing their homework and are paying attention in class, as well as turning in that classwork. So a little breakdown of our reading standards. A lot of these standards we have been looking at, and some of these we haven't quite gotten to, but the ones we've been working on in class. So students are able or should be able to ask and answer questions with evidence. So that means being able to go back in the text that they're reading and find how they got their answer. We've been going over main idea and central message. So what the author is trying to tell us, the central message, the moral, the lesson. Students will be able to interact with details, how characters respond to events, describe connections between details. Students will also be able to interpret meaning of vocabulary words and phrases in text using those context clues and reading around that word that they don't know. They're also looking at examining structure of a text, story structure, which is our beginning, middle, and end. The point of view, so they're going to be able to look at various points of view within a passage, author's purpose, narrator, as well as kind of how they respond, how characters respond to certain events in the text. And then multi-text, using two texts. Our last test had two texts that was read to them, so they should be able to draw information from both texts to come to a conclusion. And text complexity. So we are using different kinds of text, nonfiction, informational text, fables, things like that, different kinds of text with different kinds of difficulties to expand their knowledge. And our math standards. So students are able or are learning to represent and solve problems with involving addition and subtraction with and without regrouping. Students are adding and subtracting within 1,000. They're going to be working with equal groups of objects to gain foundations for multiplication. So they don't do multiplication in second grade, but they are learning foundational skills that they will need for third grade when they do multiplication. They're getting a better understanding of place value, so that's our hundreds, tens, and ones. Using place value to understand the properties of how to add and subtract. Measure and estimate lengths in standard units. We haven't gotten to this standard yet. Relate addition and subtraction to length. Work with time and money, which is coming up. And represent and interpret data. That's our bar graphs. Using tally marks. And reason with shapes and their attributes. So those are a few of the standards that we haven't gone to yet, but we are working towards those. So what can you guys as parents do at home? Read every single day as much as possible. If you guys don't have books at home, there's a website called Epic Reading where you can find books that they can read online. You can ask your child questions about what they read and ask them to find the answer in the text. So you can kind of check whether or not they're comprehending what they're reading. Go over the homework with your child, the spelling words, as well as any reading homework or math homework. The homework in class should be exactly what we're doing. The homework that is given to you guys is exactly what we're doing in class. So it should directly reflect what they're learning. If you are able to get on Already at Home, that's also very helpful. And then Starfall is another great reading program to utilize at home. And last but not least, my contact information. So notes written in the agenda or emails or messages from Class Dojo will be responded to the same day. Phone calls will be returned within 48 hours. My school phone number is 407-521-2795. My extension is 330-2243. My cell phone number is 407-455-3218. And my email is gabriella.carrion@ocps.net. So please feel free to contact me if you have any questions, concerns. Shoot me a text message if there's anything that you might need, any questions you might have. And I'll try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. Have a good night.